Times change. Coming to you from Las Vegas at the Quirky Mind Studio. Jen in the house wearing blue from Aliante. Mode Salon.
Looking great.
Chris looking great in blue as well.
Oh, thank you so much. And Charlie over here in the brown cap and the gray sweater. And we look like we're gonna go golfing.
I love it. Very classy.
And we've got Remy on the show today for the first time.
We are so excited to have you here today.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, man. Really, for the support, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course. I love you guys.
Thank you. Remy's a master of all trades, man.
All trades.
A few.
Any golfs, I understand.
Yeah, we love golfers.
I golf, and I also do frisbee golf too, but I do love the game of golf.
I've wanted to try that, the frisbee.
It's a stealth game, you know, like you got no goalie, you got no first baseman or pitcher, it's just you against the ball and the hole. And so if it doesn't go in, it's because something you did wrong. So it's very disciplining.
And available to absolutely everyone. This is only one person who's required.
See, I started playing golf just for the drinking personally. I was everyone's going out and getting
Oh, you're a fan of the 19th hole.
That's a big part of golf.
That is a big part of
That's
the
where
golf.
I wake up at a lot.
I'm not a big drinker. That cart, I'm level. I don't even make it past the 9th hole. I'm like throwing up on the side. Terrible. No, but the cart is so.
As long as you don't do donuts in the golf cart.
Exactly.
I've done it.
I sliced the. You know where you park the cart, like next to you, where you're about to drive. Like, I sliced the ball so bad it went straight into the front of the golf cart, right? And it went through the thing, the plastic, and it got lodged in the front.
Oh wow.
They were like, it was a perfect slice of like this, and they were like, they didn't know if I maybe did it on purpose or you know what I mean? I was like,
You probably did.
Yeah, I meant to do that kind of thing.
that means you're terrible.
Charlie wasn't invited back.
Bro, one time we showed up one time and there was 11 of us. I was like 20, 21, right? 11 of us showed up. I mean, like, what a marauder. We all like had gotten into my parents' basement and found all of my dad's old polyester clothes from the 70s. So we just looked ridiculous. And some wasn't even fitting. So like the 11 of us go out there, we're playing, and like you can't go out there, you know, what are you, an 11? Sometimes like they break us up into the groups. And of course, after the third hole, we're out of view, like we're all just this marauding group, right, going around this golf course.
The people behind you were probably pissed.
Well, this is where the story comes in.
Yes.
Then as we're sitting, we get to like the 7th hole, and we're sitting there, all of them, and it's like literally 11 of us on the green, right? And this guy behind us hits on us.
Oh, no.
All of a sudden, like, boom, and we're like, whoa. So one of the guys goes up on the green, puts a tee in the green, hits the ball back at the guy, and it's a par 3, and he sends like a 3-wood like 100 yards over the guy's head into the housing development next door.
Awesome.
Guy comes up on a cart, and he was the golf pro. So now we're in a mad race to get off the cart because he's calling the cops because he sees, of course, the beer cans and the bottles, and we're underage, and you know we're technically driving a motorized vehicle impaired, and
Gosh darn Midland kids.
yeah.
Holding up is when they were
I didn't know golf could be violent.
Oh yeah, it's what you make out of it. Anything could be violent.
I used to live over in Rhodes Ranch here in town. It's a golf course community. And
Now that's a place to get thrown off of.
Yeah, I mean,
I think I've been in that one. I have. They're in Vistania. What's one up there?
yeah, it's over off Durango, and we were on the course probably a couple times a week. And I remember one time specifically, I sliced one and hit this guy's house. And I mean, because the houses are right there. You know,
exactly. When you're living on a golf course and your house ain't gonna get hit by a golf ball.
Yeah, well, I've only seen
they have
It's like
video
people get mad when they get wet in the rain.
No nets, right?
No, they're not nets. Oh, some people have their own personal nets, but the golf course doesn't supply them. And he came outside and he's like, hey, why don't you take up another sport like basket weaving? I all looked at each other.
Yes.
Like, is basket weaving a sport?
Yes. You weave it and put it in.
If you don't want your house to get hit, with golf balls, just don't buy a house on a golf course, maybe.
Right.
Yeah, that's retarded. I never understood that, but I saw a lot of the nets. Remember Bears Best golf course?
Oh yeah, that's one of the best courses.
Well, as they were building it for it was a 2-year. Thing that that even constructed. It was going to be the best. All these pro guys came in. We used to go almost every night for our little quad ride. We go right. We're going to the mountain right there. When I was at the lakes, Koala Pine was all dirt from there, right?
Yeah.
So we would just go out there, man, and we would the 9th hole. They jump like no other. Yeah, there's no possible way you can
Do not take your quads to the 9th hole.
Well, actually, it was so bad that they started putting a guy roving in a pickup truck. We had to hide in stand traps. The grass. They were the Antichrist. We were the Antichrist, you know?
Well, I mean, you were on a golf course with what is it, quads?
Quads, and the golf course wasn't complete, so they had things that were probably needed to, like, important, you know, more important than the finished product, I would think, you know?
I'm pretty sure those are not allowed on the golf course. So.
And once a week, I would take a memento back and put it in my garage. I had that, you know, I had a nice ivory one with the 2 woods, the Bear's Best. I love that one. That was a good one.
Charlie's a rebel.
No, it became a trophy when you outrun the security guy and everything.
So we have a famous question that we asked all of our guests.
What color is the trophy?
And that is not the question.
It's green.
Oh, I thought it was.
What were you doing 1 year ago before COVID happened?
Right, Remy, that is the question.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I play in a band called Leatherbound Crooks here in town.
Say that again?
Leatherbound Crooks. And actually,
Love that name.
that's what my IG actually stands for. Remy LBC stands for Leatherbound Crooks. A lot of people think I'm from Long Beach, but I'm from Orange, which is a couple cities over from Long Beach, but it actually stands for Leatherbound Crooks.
So they greet you at Remy LBC?
Yep, on Instagram. And then leatherboundcrooks.com, or you can do the plugs later and all that. But 1 year ago, we had a tour booked. We were supposed to be going to Lake Havasu and playing, you know, right there on the water. We had a few other shows in California booked, and we had just released an album called Breach, and we were really excited just to get out there and, you know, share our music with people. And then the old vid happened, so that kind of put us in a spiral, and we had to just, you know, switch gears and figure out what we were going to do to monetize our music. So a year ago, I was planning on, you know, just touring and playing some music, and that changed.
For everybody too, you know, really.
And it's going to be changed for quite some time.
Yeah, they say.
That's what I heard terrible news the other day, but one guy thinks it's still going to go on for, we're not even halfway through it.
Them guys in Colorado that just came down to play for us, the Dead Group,
Yeah.
they're making their own channel that anyone can just put their stuff on, a really like a national recognized channel. It's your home, right? But they only want to bring people up awareness, like you know.
It's a live stream. Remy, what he's talking about is it's a live streaming platform, right? Where you have to go there and you perform live. It's not pre-recorded. You're not submitting videos. You go in there. All of a sudden, it's like now we're gonna cut over to your band playing, and you either do a set or a song or something like that, and it's. That's the key on this thing, is that it's live.
Yeah, I actually right after COVID hit, a friend of mine's studio business kind of took a huge hit because nobody was, you know, coming out or playing any music or recording or rehearsing.
Nobody had money to pay to do it.
Right. So you know, me and a friend who her name's Asia Jade, she hosts a lot of the open mics over at Gold Spike, or did, and does a lot of stuff in the community. She's known as the neighborhood weirdo. And I reached out to her and I said, hey, what do you think about starting this show where we do that, where we bring bands into the studio and we record it and we put the episodes out. And it was called Las Vegas Live Sessions. And we actually put out we put out like 5 episodes. You know, we started a YouTube channel. It was nothing big. It was just kind of a local thing that we did. We hadn't done an episode in quite some time, but we started doing it heavy at the beginning of COVID. And I want to say we put out 6 episodes. We did one with the Sober Junkie on his 8th year of sobriety.
Wow.
Because he actually used cannabis to get him off of hard drugs.
What's his name?
The Sober Junkie.
The Sober Junkie.
And they consider cannabis a drug. That's ridiculous.
Right.
It only can help.
It was an exit drug for him, you know what I mean?
Totally.
Instead of a gateway drug, it got him off the hard stuff. And so that was really cool. We actually, you know, that's a great thing.
That's a brilliant term right there, just to let you know.
Yeah.
We were just speaking in a previous episode about that marijuana and gateway drug and everything. Here, the complete spin is it being the exit drug is
Any rehab place or something?
monumental.
Yeah, and totally. And he preaches that a lot. You know, he's still in the program. You know, him and his band play shows to people who are trying to, you know, come back from that way of life. And he talks a lot about how cannabis helped him, and without it, who knows where he would be.
The music station
I
too.
love the American story.
Yeah, but
That's a good one.
well, they were always giving, you know, pharmaceuticals to help wind off. You know, that's their thing. That's what they use.
And that's just the worst.
It's horrible, and there's a proven track record that it is.
you know, some of that stuff's worse than, you know, the street drugs that they're on, you know, because, you know, then they start taking these other pharmaceuticals, and then they take other pills to get rid of the pain or the insomnia or anything else that goes along with it, and then before you know it, you're taking, you know, 6-7 different types of pills a day, and
there's some good stuff out there, I know.
And it just messes with your mind.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
changes your whole personality
does.
and makes you not even realize what's important.
Dude, I'm still getting over that exit drug statement. That's just absolutely
Great.
banging around in this whole
Perfect.
empty noggin here.
It's perfect. It really is.
Yeah, so
That is
junkie.
great.
He's got some great music too. He's also Native American, so he preaches a lot about that. And you know, just total good vibes with that dude.
It completely destroys the whole concept, right? People are sitting there like, oh, if they think like if I do this, then I can't do anything. They get hooked on alcohol. Like, oh no, you can't. Oh, your receptors or anything. Oh my God, if they even smell Jack Daniels, they're gonna go running out to the liquor store and do this and all these things. And you know,
It's
and
me every day.
I don't think
I know who I'm hanging out with afterwards.
exactly. Drinks are on Jen.
Cheers.
Jen, enjoy it. Where we going, Jen? Hey. Yeah, I don't know anyone that went to a rehab with alcohol or heroin addiction that wasn't giving a pharmaceutical to help, you know?
Right.
So why not give the weed? What?
Dude, I was just seeing the thing. You know what? I've been messing around with, you know, playing guitar again and getting into tracks, and I was screwing around with Who tracks the other day, and I was, you know, watching these videos, playing along with them, you know, keeping the whole thing. They had isolated tracks and stuff. And
That windmill thing he stole, by the way.
Yeah,
He did?
Who did? Pete Townsend stole a windmill?
Yeah, actually.
From
He talks about it. It was he was backstage, and he was watching a drummer just warm up and just like stretch his arms out, and he was doing that motion, and he was like, huh. And then he incorporated that into a guitar strum, and he vocally said that he took that
I
motion.
wouldn't say that he stole. I say he was inspired from it.
Sure,
you know
he
what I mean?
commandeered
Like
it.
an artist.
Yeah, commandeered.
inspiration.
I've seen what's his name from Zeppelin a couple live shows. Just throw one in here and there because he holds it real low, you know.
Well, wait a minute, but the thing that I was getting to is that, you know, so I was looking at singing on The Who, and Keith Moon, I always thought, everybody thinks, how did Keith Moon die? He got drunk and he drowned in a pile of his vomit, right? That was always the story. And he actually died from a drug overdose from the drug that was given to him to get him off of alcohol.
Interesting.
That's the official cause of death of Keith Moon is a drug. So for all these years, you hear these stories about people, you know?
Keith
And
Moon was
the
an
way that
amazing
they
drummer,
use,
too.
the way that they weaponize it, you know, even I saw one the other day about Mama Cass. Everybody always said Mama Cass died from eating a ham sandwich. She choked to death eating a ham sandwich. People were always fat shaming her. That was
They say that?
That was always the story about Mama Cass. If you look it up, was that, and it was put out by the press, and it was like the.
So what was the real reason?
It had mayo.
This is gonna be sad.
It actually,
I know,
you know
we're
what,
talking
I
about
gotta be
someone's
honest,
death here.
it actually is sad. It's something that really hit me that she died in her sleep of a heart attack, which was caused by years of yo-yo dieting and diet pills.
Wow.
What's a yo-yo?
Yo-yo dieting is somebody who is like has a weight. They starve themselves. They lose weight. They gain weight. They lose weight, and they go up and down like a yo-yo.
Right.
Their weight goes
Oh,
up and down like 30 or 40 pounds. Right?
Yeah.
You see them one time and up, they're up, and then see them down, they're down, and they do that. And it's one of the worst things that you can do.
And some of those, you know, meal replacements or dietary supplements and all those things. Anytime I've ever tried anything that was like artificial sweetener and all that other stuff, it gives me the jitters. It kind of just makes me feel weird.
You're not used to the chemicals. Your body is rejecting the chemicals.
Common.
Once you have them for a while, you build them up in your system, and any unnatural substance when it's in your system, it gets used to it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, in prison, a batch of 3-gallon booze, they use 4,200 pink packs. So a lot of people,
What's a pink pack?
the pink sweetener packs.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's the one that
Sweet
gives me
and
a
low.
headache.
Aspartame.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. There's at least 1 out of 3 people that get a major, like some kind of thing that is definitely because of that. That's ridiculous, you know?
I heard it's really bad for your kidneys too.
It has to be.
Yeah.
I mean, anything that would mess with your brain probably is. But, I don't know. You know, you got 4 stages of the kidney, though. You can rock for a while, yo.
And you got two.
I like the side stage the best.
Yeah.
If one goes bad, you still gotta back up.
You gotta back up. Yeah, I always do. You just have someone go cut it out with someone on the beach. Bring it to the hospital.
Part of the plan.
Good.
I'm gonna sell mine. I'm just kidding.
Remy, tell the people about some of these events that you do.
Oh wow. Okay.
If you can.
Yeah.
Tell us what you're able to.
Sure. Yeah.
Everything.
So, you know, I'm a cannabis host, so I do a lot of things that are related around cannabis. I'm really for the community and trying to get rid of the stigma, the negative stigma that just encompasses cannabis in general. And funny that we're talking about that, because I wanted to say cannabis. I was talking with the guy who started the Marijuana Hall of Fame, and I was like, why'd you go with Marijuana Hall of Fame instead of you know, the Cannabis Hall of Fame? And he said, because marijuana right now is a cuss word. And he's like, once it gets past the stigma, it's going to become a normal word, and I want to embrace that. And that's such an interesting thing, because I started thinking about that. I'm like, wow, so all the news outlets, anytime they say something that's a negative towards the cannabis community, they'll always say, a marijuana dispensary was raided today, or someone who was on marijuana crashed into this. You know, always use marijuana as a cuss word. And then these activists or businesses always use the word cannabis because it kind of rolls up the tongue a little lighter. It's kind of like not so in your face. So it's interesting. And since then, I've been kind of watching it, and it really is like that. If the plant is put into a positive light, they call it cannabis, and whenever it's negatively,
interesting.
they use marijuana.
I actually just
words
had
count.
I'm gonna look at that more.
Yeah, they actually said that about this show, because the write-up for this show had the word marijuana in it, and I had to change it to cannabis.
Yeah,
And I didn't know
business
why.
license. I tried
But
something.
thanks for explaining that.
The
Yeah.
city wouldn't give you the license, right? With that word on there. They'd approve that word.
Yeah.
So Jen, can we say this show is sponsored by, or what did you have to use? What was the words that you were using? It's
I said
promotes,
that,
or
that we have a marijuana expert on here. I had to change it to cannabis expert.
Yeah.
or a cannabis
Wow.
expert who grows marijuana.
I
Can we do that?
I'm a retired
Or like,
probationer.
or like we're promoting cannabis, parentheses, the stuff that marijuana comes from, parentheses.
So to answer your question, a lot of the events that I do, some of them are private events, some of them are corporate events. Like I hosted the Cannabis Awards, where we gave out a bunch of awards for, you know, the best flower or the best dispensary. I did that with Stoner Rob in All Access Vegas. And then I do other things like on New Year's I did a private party with Frosty Fresh. He's a glassblower, and Hood Rat.
Awesome party.
Hood Rat shit.
I was there.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were there. Can I say Hood Rat shit? Because that's his name.
You know, go for it. I
His
think,
name is Hood Rat shit. That's his name.
well, you don't want to disrespect his title.
Yeah, sure.
I tell you what, we're on a fine line right here.
We are?
I don't know.
It'll be on YouTube, but not on iHeart.
Yeah.
I would say,
That's
yeah,
unfortunate,
this
you
is
know?
the decision that'll be made for us.
Okay.
Well, he could say sit, right? Or you take the H, then you jack his name up.
Yeah. No,
that's
I don't want that.
it.
His name is Hood Rat shit.
Maybe he should go Hood Rat Cannabis.
Hood Rat poo.
Hood rat crap.
Yeah.
Hood Rat not able to go on radio.
So Frosty and Hood Rat are both really
The
great.
fact you call him Hood Rat means that is pretty much.
I like his name already.
Yeah. They make excellent pieces.
Unbelievable.
Hood Rat makes like these zombie hands and faces and things like that. And then Frosty makes these cool, dab rig bottles that look like a face with teeth, and they usually have a grill and these cool funky eyes. Just really cool guys. And they wanted to come and do, cannabis themed New Year's party here in Vegas. And they reached out to my friend Brian from Vegas Strain Review and asked him to put together a party. They asked me to host, and we just put together this event. It was $200 a ticket. It was totally underground, and it sold out, and we had an excellent time. And there was,
Excellent time.
games, giveaways. Nothing was for sale. Everything was all inclusive. They had a meal provided for them. So I've been doing a lot of private cannabis events.
Band too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the swag bags from that too. You guys gave out a lot of goodies.
We did. I think it was like around $700 worth of stuff in each box.
I loved it.
And then I got another one coming up on Valentine's Day called Nugs and Kisses, which is kind of like the same thing. Yeah. So doing a lot of private stuff. And then I also get involved in the community in another way that's not so cannabis related. I started hosting skate wars down at the Drop, which is a skateboarding competition.
This is good.
Yeah, and I grew up skateboarding, so they asked me like, Remy, do you think you could host a skateboarding competition? I was like, well, yeah. I mean, I know all the tricks, so why not? I can do that. So I've done Skate Wars 1 and 2, and actually that's one of the events I really look forward to every year because the community comes out and brings their kids. It's a very family event. There's food trucks. There's skateboarding companies and clothing companies, and it's not a cannabis event, although you see the same faces. So I just like to get around and do stuff like that.
Listen, no one else is doing it like you are. You're providing a place for us to enjoy ourselves and promote stuff and be happy, really happy. Good people.
Thanks, man. It's not just me, it's the community as a whole.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, even though COVID tried to really push us down, we had to just have a meeting in the minds and figure out how we can make this safe for everybody, but still give people a place to go and feel safe and also socialize in a safe way. And we've had our challenges, but I really think we're doing it better than the casinos are here, honestly.
No, absolutely.
Where do you see where do you see the future? I mean, right now, you're doing pop-up events kind of thing, makeshift, that you don't have a spot. Where do you see yourself going? Do you want to get into having your own lounge? Do you want to be consulting on stuff like that? What do you?
I actually kind of already do that now, consulting, just because I'm so, my schedule's so full, I can't physically be everywhere all the time. So I'm kind of an ambassador a lot of times. People call me, hey Remy, I just link people up, with others who can help them. Just because I'm like a diplomat who's gone freely between all these different tribes of people within the community, and I've met so many incredible people. And I always just try to marry those people together. Like a perfect example, I met a scientist, her name is Dee, the mad scientist, and she was like, I've gone to school and I've learned all this chemistry stuff, and I really like the cannabis industry. So if you know of anybody who needs a scientist, let me know. And a couple weeks later, I was talking to my friend. His mom was really trying to get into making some CBD creams, like makeup, face masks, and stuff like that I really don't understand.
Right.
And I just linked them two together, and now they've been working together, and they're making all these products, and it's blossoming, and I played a very, very small part in that. But to answer your question, I really want to see the cannabis industry. We're ground level right now, so many things can happen.
So many.
There's a lot of restrictions right now, but
huge push though.
Right, and then you got places like Nuwu. They're on Indian land, so they have a little bit more wiggle room, and I'm seeing them start to.
What's that?
Explain.
First time I've ever heard that word.
Okay, so Nuwu is a dispensary that's over off of Main Street, just north of Fremont, and it's technically on Indian land.
The Paiute cigarettes over there.
Right.
So they don't fall under the federal laws that any other cannabis dispensary would fall under. So they're able to push the limits a little more, and they are, and so they're doing some groundbreaking stuff that we're not really going to see in other places because it's not really allowed. And they're really going to break out and do some really cool stuff. In fact, they opened one of the first tasting lounge in a dispensary. You can go right now to Nuwu. I don't know with COVID, but
tasting what?
We were just talking about that on our last show. I didn't even know that there was a lounge.
Yeah, they call it a tasting room, but literally you can go into the dispensary, you can buy a product, you can go into their back lounge, and you can get a seating area where they have bud tenders that come out and they'll roll your joints for you. They'll serve you at the bar. Absolutely. And you can smoke in there, you can drink in there. Really cool thing.
It's the only place I saw so far that was like what we envisioned for Europe, the one-stop and shop dispensary. So they got the clothes, they got pieces of every kind. People, if they get what they need, they go to a smoke shop, try to find, that's cool.
Yeah, I think that they're going to really change the game there and set the bar for everyone else in town. But they just have to get through all the red tape. So
milligrams, are they allowed to?
That's
our problem now with a lot of the amount of milligrams if they're regulated.
If I remember right, when I first went there and got a dab, it was a point what was it? I want to say it was like a 0.15 that they were giving out, or a 0.2, and then they lowered it because that was too much of a dose for people to dab, and they were just getting way too high. So then they lowered it down a little bit.
Yeah.
But
First down.
to further that a little more, I really would hope to see the cannabis industry grow in a way where people can get it out of this stigma and see that it's really a social thing that I feel is way better than alcohol. So you see the bars now where people go and drink. I'd really love to see a place where people can go and smoke and listen to music.
It's coming.
Yeah, it really is.
Northtown's very close.
The big obstacle is going to be, I see it as like that people are going to have to decide one or the other. Like you're either going to go to a bar where you can't technically
They did that.
consume,
Did they do that in the
right,
others?
THC products, or you
Yeah.
can go to your place. Now, where the disadvantage on your end of it is this. People are hitting those pens all the time in the bars right now.
Sure.
So they're already smoked. So like the bars have already become in many ways lounges, but you're just discreet. People are discreet in the corner doing shit like that.
Right, it's technically against the
Yeah.
Right,
rules.
now you're gonna
They
sit
just
and you're
can't
gonna roll it in
control.
where you're gonna have like all the different stuff like that, and then it's gonna be
Don't have to hide in
what
the
do you
corner.
what else do you serve?
Oh,
What else? Your cannabis product. So what, people walk in and what? That's it.
No,
you know what I mean.
from what I
Bring a
understand,
cooler.
the ones that can get it are ones that already have a liquor license. And because that's the same, but they can change that. Like, so Northtown City, they have.
So like it's an amendment on a liquor license.
Well, they feel
Right.
that people that are doing the right thing, holding a license that's similar to that,
Yeah.
are the first people to be safest to go ahead and put that into effect. You know what I'm saying? So, but
That makes a lot of sense because if I was going to open up a marijuana grow, I would get a beer brewer, a master brewer.
yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I think a lot of things are going
You
to.
didn't get that, dude. I'm completely sarcastic on this. It's just like one has nothing to do with the other. Just because you know weed doesn't mean, or alcohol doesn't mean you know.
Well, I believe in
Yeah.
making everything as much as you can, so that's not a joke for me.
Well, like, if you think about it, like the bars nowadays, like in California, they don't allow smoking, but here in Nevada, you can go into a bar, you can gamble, you can drink, and you can smoke, and you can buy cigarettes.
Right.
from the
Oh,
bar.
there's a
Not
whole
either.
nother quagmire. Yeah,
No,
you're
not-
putting a carcinogen theoretically in the air, right?
Right,
But
and
they have
that was the whole public smoking thing, was because of the carcinogens and the contact
I didn't
highs
think
and stuff
about
like that.
Mhm.
But like,
Nobody does.
But like you say, people go in and they hit their vapes in the bar anyway, in the movie theaters, and people have been smoking marijuana at concerts since before I was
yeah.
born.
Can I tell you? Do you want to know why nobody thinks of the carcinogen smoking idea when it comes to weed?
What?
Because I don't know if anybody's ever smoked just weed and gotten lung cancer. I don't mean they've done studies. It's
I
from
don't
what I
either.
hear, and I can't say that I know this because I don't, but from what I
Yep.
understand,
Definitely
is
healthy.
like people who smoke weed don't get cancer. They're actually cure cancer.
I agree.
So it's like the whole another PR war you're going to come up with is going to be the smoking thing, because what you're essentially going to have to be like, this isn't smoke. This is a beneficial smoke.
Good
Right.
point. Good
This
point.
it's
Yeah.
right,
medicine.
and it's a medicine, right? And
That's
and
good
this
argument there.
I can tell you right now, for me, this is one of the big obstacles I see in this.
Totally.
Well, they got really big on testing for a lot of things, especially the terpenes that are involved. In California, they don't really test for terpenes, but out here, you have to have a terpene profile.
Yeah.
So any product that you purchase, it has to show which terpenes are in each plant.
Explain the whole concept of a terpene, what it
Yeah,
is, what
I
it does,
know
like
what
what,
you mean.
right?
Okay, I'll do my best to explain
Yeah,
this. So,
you know.
terpenes, in a sense, is like a pheromone or what a plant smells like. Okay, but it's properties within the plant that make up the oil that's inside, whether it's CBD or THC or any other oils that are in the plant. And those terpenes actually have medical benefits, like
And flavor.
and flavor, exactly. So the taste really comes from the terpenes as well, which is why it's a pheromone and in such a way. I probably, don't quote me on that, it's probably not a pheromone, but you get the idea, right? And then in addition to the taste and the smell, they also have medical properties. So some of these terpenes can help reduce tumors. Some of these terpenes are sedative. Some of them so as far as I understand, none of these are really psychoactive. So it's not really what gets you high. That's the THC.
Correct. That's correct.
You know what I'm saying? So these are things that just make that strain unique. And like myrcene can be kind of sedative. That's a terpene. Limonene, caryophyllene. These are all different types of terpenes. And
what did limonene? What would? All right. So what was the first
for
one
me,
you said?
Mercy.
Myrcene brings you down.
Myrcene, well, actually, myrcene is like the most common terpene. So I see myrcene in almost every single plant. So depending on what it's paired with, will make it sedative or will make it more of an upper. But myrcene.
The way that it's what now?
What is paired with like other terpenes. So there's not just one
So
type
the
of
myrcene
terpene.
sits there, and then it has something else that's going to say whether it's going to
Exactly, there's other
terpenes.
terpenes involved. So it's not just one terpene in a strain. There's going to be multiple terpenes in a strain. So, and there's this guy actually. There's a famous video that went viral. He had Parkinson's. He couldn't talk. He shaked really bad, and he'd been like that for a long time. And they administered him with some cannabis. I believe it was a tincture, which is like drops you put under your tongue.
Outstanding.
Very, very potent stuff. And they gave it to him, and they had him lay on the couch. And just some minutes later, he actually sat up. He wasn't shaking, and he talked. He hadn't really talked in a long time because he couldn't get his words out. And the first thing he says was, "I'm hungry."
Wow.
But you know what I mean?
That's famous first words out of most people to get baked.
Well, you're healthy when you're looking for food. Though. Eddie's helping like 65 people across the country.
Oh yeah, he helps cancer patients and stuff like that. Eddie Crocker's the guy. He makes he has edibles and stuff that he makes with distillate. Very pure stuff, high in THC. But yeah, the terpenes are. I'm a terpene guy. Like if I go to get any type of flower or wax or anything, I want to see the terpene profile. And back to my original point, the fact that they're testing for these terpenes in Nevada especially allows us to dig deeper into the science of cannabis.
Correct.
And it allows us to open up our mind to the fact that it is medicine and it's not just recreational. It can help people. It can reduce tumors. It can help people with that have seizures. You know.
Dude, I got to tell you, you're all over it because I've met hermits, growers that are like hermits. They never come out and everything like that. They have their own
agoraphobic.
Right. Huge, they got a heck of
Jumbie.
Right.
Jumbie's slightly agoraphobic.
But the thing is,
Just kidding, bro. I love you.
We love Jumbie.
But they've got a certain view of the world.
Yeah.
And then I've met other people that are just so absolutely not even optimists, but like just like dreamer. Like it's not based in reality what they want to do. You're completely based in reality. Like you're head on and thing like with the smoke, with the idea, the whole addiction of the marijuana, right? Going with that, changing the word. Like that guy inspiring you to do that.
The stigma.
Exit drug.
The stigma, man.
Dude, I got a list on here with you.
You know, and it's just because I see all these things going on, and there are people that just smoke just to get high, you know, and that's what they do. But there's a whole nother world to
And they're a great bunch too.
Oh, I
And
love
I
those
will
guys.
say, like,
Exactly.
a lot
Big
of the
boys
people
club.
that smoke just to get high, they actually have like an anxiety or some other underlying conditions. I've noticed that a lot.
They do.
They do.
Sure, it's like
and
people-
the marijuana just cures it for them.
It's just like people. Yeah, exactly.
Or makes you batshit paranoid.
And
Well, that's the wrong strain
Yeah,
for that.
yes,
That's the
yes.
I was
whole
gonna say,
thing.
you asked me about.
I hate hearing
Yeah.
that.
You
Go
asked-
ahead. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
You asked
go
me
ahead.
about limonene, and for me,
Yeah, it
if
does,
I
it
have
does.
terpene, if it's high in limonene as a terpene in the strain, it does make me anxious. I get some anxiety. And I don't like it. So I try to stay away from strains. So that's why it's also really important for you to be educated. And I found that the bud tenders here in Las Vegas are very educated.
Yeah.
And if you go in there and you say, hey, listen, I'm new. I want to be able to eat because I have cancer and it's hard for me to eat, or anything, you know, I have these aches and pains because I have arthritis, whatever it may be. Talk to your bud tender, you know, let them know what's going on. And in Vegas, they'll really school you and they'll point you in the right direction, because I've heard so many stories of people who are like hearing all these miracle stories, and then they go and try cannabis, and then they just have a freak out where, you know, they think they're gonna die.
Well, they eat too much or whatever, but you know.
Or the wrong one.
Well, it's the wrong one is the big thing, because you know marijuana gets looped into this thing. Everybody thinks, oh, it's just one plant,
Right.
and they have no idea. Just like there's hundreds of different kinds of alcohols and spirits.
Sure.
And some people shouldn't drink tequila,
Right.
right? And therefore you have marijuana that's the same. Some people shouldn't have certain marijuanas.
Alcohol.
Have you ever heard this? I'm sorry, Charlie.
What?
No.
Sure.
Just, I had somebody years ago told me this, that when you smell the weed. You go into a dispensary and you start smelling that. The one that is most pungent, almost feels like it burns your nose, is the one that your body needs the most. That means that's your body telling you.
Interesting.
That, like, so if you're like, it's okay, but one that just makes you go, oh, like at that moment, your body needs whatever properties are in that.
Wow, so that's
Interesting.
good.
I haven't heard that before, but
Trust your nose.
Yeah, you know, follow your nose.
Follow your nose. And I had a few people tell me that, you know, that. So I told you guys something. Wow, what do you know?
We were told that also that by Eddie that the numbers of the milligrams is greatly less than what they actually need at this time. So they have a maximum that they have as state law, which has to in a lot of cases be quadrupled or more.
And that number's skewed too because milligrams is just, that's a physical amount. You know what I mean? So milligrams is like, this is how many milligrams of product is in this product, but what percentage is those milligrams? You know, is that a 90% distillate? Is it a 25% distillate? Because you can have 10 milligrams of 90% THC, and then you're looking at
the concentration matters. It's like I could sell you pool chlorine, I could sell you bleach.
Right.
you know.
It all comes in a 1 gallon bottle.
Exactly right.
We want high quality here. We're bougie. We want the best.
So I feel that
absolutely we do.
I thought he was going to say cyanide too with the other.
quality is better than quantity for me, and I really, like I said,
cyanide.
You said bleach and pool water.
Yeah.
What's next?
Cyanide.
Cyanide. Put him out of the misery.
Death chamber.
Jesus. Wow.
But it's the same thing. I mean, like chlorine, pool chlorine is super concentrated bleach. Right, that's what it is. Essentially, right? So.
Well, there's more properties in it. That says hard. You definitely get bleach. Listen.
This is all natural. We're talking about plants.
Yeah, where are we going with this bleach thing? Let's talk about Operation Pipe Dreamers.
I love it. That was his first thing to go to enhance it.
I was cleaning my pool the other day. I was
about-
looking at concentrations and stuff, so I was on point with that. I was looking at that. I was like, look at this. I need to put in like this one. They said you got to put in the whole bottle. This one's a little more, but you put in 1/8 of the bottle.
I just think
same
about
thing.
like when I try and wash clothes with bleach. I've given up on that like years ago.
Bleach is for one thing.
Yeah.
Buttholes. That's
it. You're right. It
What
really
else do you
is.
use bleach for?
The whites.
I thought you were gonna say crime scenes. I mean, out of nowhere.
I thought he was going to say the whites. I got hit on that one. But he's
Just
exactly
needed
right, though.
Vegas, rated X.
It is
Exactly.
You know?
very
Just
important.
dropped it.
is.
We are the bleach stainless capital of the world, from what I understand.
I mean, if
Are we?
you are
No, I'm
bleaching
just kidding.
here,
I
There's
think
a lot of strippers here.
Yeah, that's what made me think it. But then again, I think it gravitated towards the porn industry.
Yeah, which is in Chatsworth in the Valley.
Yeah.
And in our
See, I
industry,
think they
they're
could
mixing
make
with
the
the cannabis
claim.
industry a lot, the porn now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and psilocybin's starting
They're
to
gonna
come into
mount
play
their
too.
flag there, and it.
Charlie's excited about the psilocybin.
I want anything legal. The more we can get legalized, the easier the fight is.
I think that's going to really push
the
cannabis over the top.
microdosing,
It-
shrimming.
Is
Well,
when
when people say at least
They're
it's not
watching
mushrooms.
right.
They're watching Colorado.
Yeah, so
right now.
like when they
Don't
start
go by that.
introducing more psilocybin into
Right.
public,
Yeah.
cannabis is going to kind of be like, whatever, it's just cannabis. Let's
See, that's what I'm
try to
saying.
regulate this more, and then
Exactly.
it's just going to be like, all right, you
Right.
guys just do what you want.
Yeah. See.
I'm hoping.
Cannabis, it's the new Pez.
Yeah.
Yeah, they put a gaming control board guy on the board now, and they put a banker and a big casino legal lawyers on the board now too. So they're trying. You can tell that they're trying to integrate some sort of relationship with the gaming control board, which is their problem to offer anything new anyway. Even if they wanted to, they can't mess around with the gaming and the tourism. So,
Right.
banker, casino, gaming controller guy.
And I would imagine Warren
it's
Buffett
working.
has a hand in that too.
I hope he does, man. He's a beast.
He already owns Nevada Energy.
Oracle of Omaha. And those freight trains you see passing on those is everything. Every train you see, everything. Crazy. He's a beast.
He's got more money than he would ever know what to do with.
The quote that I love the most by him, it's in these depression periods. He'll come out and he'll say, well, when the tide goes out, the beach is all exposed. That's all he says. He walks away. Yeah. And if you think about that,
That actually is pretty good advice.
yeah, it really is. Everything's exposed. So you have, whatever you're doing, you must prepare for this part at some point.
Right.
You have to. Omaha Oracle. Yeah, it's a good book too. That was a bitch. Yep, he's a beast. And I, from the book too as well, he eats every meal, same thing every day. And for lunch, he has a Coke and a hamburger every day. You know, and he drives around like an old Lincoln too. You know what I mean? So he really sounded really nice. And what else are you doing with the promoting? Managers, photo, what's all that stuff?
Oh wow, that's just stuff I got thrown into. You know what I mean?
I love it. Anything you showed me on there is awesome.
I just dabble in a lot of stuff. Remy's a jack of all trades sometimes. You know, I like learning and stuff. I'm an engineer by day, and a cannabis figure by night. But it just spills into all kinds of other things. You know, I'm helping create content. You know, I'm a producer now for a TV show that I just fell into. You know, with Jerome Baker and Tommy Chong.
Great. Yep.
Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah.
Tell us about this.
Yeah.
Tell us about
What
this.
are they doing on the show? Can you say?
Oh yeah, I can give some stuff about it.
Okay.
So the show's called Operation Pipe Dreamers, and the reason for that was because in 2003, the Attorney General John Ashcroft sent out a task force. All these feds went to about, I want to say like 16 different states, and they arrested all these pipe makers. It was like conspiracy to manufacture drug paraphernalia, crossing state lines, or some kind of something like that, right? Mm-hmm. But they came out and they did a press conference and they said, okay, we've arrested Tommy Chong and a bunch of other people, and one of them was also Jerome Baker. And if you've heard that name before, his name's actually Jason Harris.
I hope you've hit this stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
He's a good friend. He's all over. He's QR code behind us right there on advertising.
Nice. Yeah, he's just a really good dude. I'm really good friends with Jason, and him and Tommy got arrested. Tommy did 9 months, and Jason got house arrest, and basically was spooked from making pipes, and he made some of the dopest pipes. You know, he was apprenticing under Bob Snodgrass. You know what I mean? One of the legends. I mean, the legend in glass blowing, I would say. You know, and so this the task force was called Operation Pipe Dreams. So that's what John Ashcroft named the secret operation, and that's why the show's called Operation Pipe Dreamers. And what it's about, it's a glass blowing competition show.
I love that so much. I love art, and I love every type of art, and definitely glass blowing. That show is going to be a huge hit.
It is.
It was a lot of fun, and I really, that's what it's about. And the director who came to me about it, he really loves glass blowing too. His name's Jason Wald. And
hi, Jason.
Hey, Jason. And how it happened was, can I keep talking about this? Is that cool? Or,
you can talk about anything you want.
I don't know if I was burning up time, but
no,
it's actually a really cool
Time's
story.
changed, buddy. We don't worry about it.
The floor is yours.
It's yours. Yeah. It's yours.
So I appreciate that, guys.
Well,
thank you.
They also need to hear about this. It's actually legitimately very cool story.
It actually is a cool story on how.
I remember in the 90s collecting like Jerome Baker pieces. Like,
yeah,
it was huge. Like we would drive like 3 hours to go to a shop that sold them. That's how, like, it was very important to have
in 97, I got the first ones in Nevada here.
Yeah.
And I've heard that story a lot about people saying, "Oh, my first piece was a Jerome Baker," and
of glass.
All this. And what's crazy is like I feel so spoiled. Like we're so spoiled because he lives here. You know, he has his shops here in Vegas, and I get to stop by and hang out with him. And now we're business partners. And beautiful. How it all kind of came together, it started back when I was hosting Sesh. Man, I was at this cannabis event. And I gave a hat to this guy, and I got a call the next day, or an Instagram message, and he said, "Hey, a kind gesture goes a long way." And he sent me a picture of the hat I gave him, and he says, "Do you like poker?" And I was like, "Yeah, I like poker." And he sent me a picture of the World Series of Poker bracelet, like up on this like 37th floor with like this weird glass globe. He took a really cool photo of the sunset. And I'm like, whoa, dude, like thinking maybe he's some kind of big poker player. He's like, no, I'm a director. He's like, I direct the World Series of Poker. I direct late night poker TV. And he's like, come on, I'm in town filming for, during COVID, he was filming this thing called the Late Night Duel or Heads Up Duel, something like that. And it was at the Poker Go studio at the Aria, and he's like, I do that, and then during the week I don't do much. So he's like, come to the set, check it out. And and then we can hang out and smoke it up on the off days or whatever. So we started hanging out. I saw the studio. I got to meet Bill Hellmuth, which is pretty cool. I don't know if you guys play poker, but
lots
Bill
of bracelets.
I play poker.
He's such a nice guy too. I was like, yo, Phil, can I take a selfie? He's like, yeah. He's like, you got short arms. Let me get that. I'll get a better one. And he stuck it way out there, took a selfie.
He starts those like an hour or two late, and every minute it goes by, they're taking their ante.
Oh, in his tournaments, he starts an hour late.
No,
that's the same.
It was an hour. I want to say it's like 2 to 3 now, and he makes like an entrance with, you know what I mean?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Are you trying to say he's all in?
No,
Is that what's going on?
if the game starts and it's your seat, they take your ante every time it's an ante, whether you're there or not.
So I think it was called the Heads
I know
Up.
what you're saying.
I think it came to me. It was called the Heads Up Poker Duel. But anyways, so we started hanging out for a couple weeks. He was coming to a couple of my private events. He got some tickets. He'd bring some friends with him, something to do while he was in town, jet setting around, working with ESPN and stuff. And he's like, listen, I've been directing like pro golf, the Olympics. He has like 12 Emmys or something, right? And he's like,
Really?
yeah.
12?
Yeah, because you get an Emmy if you're a director of a big production. So he's done all kinds of stuff. Like I said, the X
Well, that's
Games.
good.
wins.
They don't give it. That's the award when they do that. Right?
Correct.
So it's
yeah.
not just it's not just
Which, by the way, they don't give it to you. You have to buy that. So if you win an Emmy, you still have to pay like $500 if you want it.
Seriously?
Yeah. Every star, anybody who gets an Emmy, you got to pay.
Dude, that was the other thing.
I mean,
That's
$500 is
Did
nothing.
you know what I tried the other day? Is that I never knew that artists paid to perform in the Super Bowl either.
Crazy.
That I didn't realize that the whole thing is pay $8 million, perform in the Super Bowl, so you got a chance of winning making 150 when you go on tour.
Yeah, they switched it because each slot was $1 million, then $2 million. So you were only getting these retarded, crazy, like high end, and they were worried over that. I guess instead of trying this other way now, and the end to make more money. You know,
It's the way they do it. They pay.
Crazy.
They pay to be on there.
like $8 million.
While we're on the subject, I'll finish the story. But can we just talk about favorite Super
It's
Bowl?
hard for us. Okay.
Favorite Super Bowl halftime performances? Like I could start if you'd like.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So,
What's
You
yours?
say J-Lo, I'm shutting you.
No, my favorite one was Prince.
Oh, yeah, that was a great. Oh, hey.
Dude,
Hey.
so the thing about
Wow.
Prince
Yeah.
was he was back or wherever they're at backstage, wherever backstage is, like in the dugout. What do they call it? The football stadium. I don't know, I do sports, but
Locker room?
he was in the locker room. There you go. He was in the locker room, and it's starting to rain. They're setting up the set piece. Like, hey, it's raining out there. And he's like, no. He's like, the people came for a show. We're gonna give it to him. And he went out there and he played in the rain. He played Purple Rain in the rain. Wasn't planned. And then
You
also
have to play it.
a couple years before that, or maybe the year before, the Foo Fighters were on, and they covered one of Prince's songs.
Which one?
I got another confession, my friend. I ain't no friend.
And he doesn't even.
Right.
He's in a band, everybody?
So the Foo Fighters did that, and I almost cried, dude, because then when Prince was performing in the rain, then he covered a Foo Fighters song.
Oh, no shit, I didn't know
See,
that.
that's
Yeah,
honest
it was like,
respect
it
right
was
there.
such a cool thing, man. That was my favorite Super Bowl performance. I don't think it'll ever be topped.
I love how sentimental you were. I totally thought you were gonna just say like
I think-
Janet Jackson situation,
I
but
tell
you're
you
like,
what, I think you're
love
absolutely
it.
right on that for
I love
numerous
it so
reasons.
much.
The rain,
Yeah.
the rain changing the
Number
song.
one,
Yeah.
Prince
They-
can never perform again.
Yeah.
So there's that aspect of you saw something that'll never happen again. So there's
Right.
also never a chance that he can go back and do it and make it not as good as last time.
Yeah.
Like that's the one, right? Number two, it's when they were doing the productions were completely different. Right? Like he was paid to perform. Prince didn't pay money to go there.
No.
Right.
No way. No way.
And the stage was so sick.
Okay, and that's basically where we're at now. So-
And if you watch that, he also played in like these like platform looking heel things. It was crazy with these bell-bottom pants or something.
Prince Platts?
And it was raining and that stage looked so slick and he was just doing his thing and he didn't skip a beat, man. He just gave it to everybody and it was so rad. It was the
That's
coolest
amazing.
performance I've seen at the Super Bowl, hands down. But all right, so let's get back to it. So I was at Jason's house. His name's Jason Wall, the director, and he said, listen, I've been directing pro golf, the Olympics, the X Games, all these different things, and he's like, I hate golf. And he's like, I hate golf. And he's like, and I don't even know how to play poker. I'm like, wait a second.
What?
You've been directing poker for how long? He's like, I don't know, like 20 something years. And I was like, you don't know how to play? He's like, no, because they don't get to see the hands. When I was in the control room, I got to see this. All they see is like a white bar across the bottom. And so he's just going off of their reactions. And I watched him work, man. I remember watching, because I got to go out and see like live behind the cameras and watch them play poker. It was just two guys.
Cool.
And then I got to go in the control room and watch him work and speak to his people and stuff. And he's got 10 million things going on. The Laker game's on. He's giving crap to his people that are working behind him, all while he's running the switcher and switching the cameras. And he said, and I remember at this point, he was like, all right, he's about to fold. He's looking at Phil. He's like, he's about to fold. Get this camera ready, get the bio music ready. And I'm like, how does he know he's about to fold? And it was like 30 seconds later, he was thinking, and then folded, man. So yeah, he's like, I don't know how.
Oh, you saw the card.
Yeah, he
sure.
Yeah,
Like,
but
that
he should be a
7-2
poker player
odds.
because a good player plays the person, not the
Right.
cards.
But
He's the guy.
But he knows what cards they have.
He's so in the zone with his job. And I get it. He's like, I don't know how to play. I just know how to move the camera. So he said, what I really want to do is I want to create a show about glass blowing. He's like, I love the art of glass blowing.
Wow.
And I said, well, I know Jerome Baker. And he's like, no, you don't. And I was like, yeah, his name's actually Jason Harris. Jerome Baker's just the name of his company. He's like, oh, I didn't know that. I was like, yeah, and he has a shop right down the way.
Awesome shop.
So, when Jason got arrested and went on house arrest, he went back home to Hawaii. He was up in Eugene, and then he went to Hawaii, and he was kind of like just laying low because of all that stuff that happened. And then he finally got back on the horse, started making pipes again. He came back and made the world's largest bong. He still holds the record for it.
22 feet?
I don't know the answer to that question.
I saw it in the Guinness Museum.
But I know it's big enough that it has to be in storage. And so now he's got a shop here. He's still got a shop in Maui. And I took Jason over there and had the two Jasons meet, and they were just like a couple of schoolgirls. Like they started bouncing these ideas off of each other.
Yeah.
Let's do this. And Jason Harris, Jerome Baker, he gets hit up for stuff all the time. Everyone wants to do a collab with Jerome Baker because it's Jerome Baker. You know what I'm saying?
Every day.
So when I came to him, he actually came to one of my parties, and I was like, hey man, I got this director I want you to meet, and I wouldn't bring you no BS. Like this guy's the real deal, Holyfield. I really think you should sit down and talk to him. And then Operation Pipe Dreamers came about. They got all these sponsors together. We got all these cool people. Jason Harris knows every freaking buddy in America, practically. He's got a guy for everything. So he started making phone calls. And before you knew it, this show was created. Tommy Chong got involved because him and Jason Harris, made the Tommy Chong bong that was in High Times. So they're really close and working together. And then obviously they were the two that were arrested during Operation Pipe Dreams. So the show is kind of built around the story of how it was so taboo and now it's full circle. Mm-hmm. And logistically what it is, it's like a cooking show.
And
Times
now it's a
changed for them too,
legitimate
right? That's
Yeah.
why we named the show this, right?
Times
Everywhere we
changed.
go, look at this.
That's what it is, right?
So there's a show called Blown Away that's on TV, and it's about blowing glass, but they make art pieces.
Mm-hmm.
They've never made a show about bong or pipe making, so this is the first of its kind.
I didn't even know this was
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
When you smoke out of glass, it changes the colors of it. How are they going to show that on TV? Like what it will look like, or have they thought of that?
You mean as far as like when it's cured?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so it's just like any other cooking show, so there's a couple of different rounds. So in the first round, they'll have a certain amount of time to make a piece, and in the second round, they make a slightly larger piece and they get a little bit more time. And then all of those pieces go into the kiln, and they do finally cure, and then you do see the final pieces. And in fact, this is the greatest part about the show is the philanthropy behind it. Every single piece that was blown is going to be sold, and 100% of the proceeds go for charity. And we flew in like 12 of the greatest glass blowers in America right now. Some of the greatest. We got even greater ones on the next season too. But not to downplay it, these guys are amazing. I mean, this one guy Yushin, he's in the $100,000 club, which means that he made a piece and it sold for $100,000 or more.
It's crazy.
Wow.
So some of these pieces are going to go for, tens, 20s, 50s of thousands of dollars when they go for auction, and 50% of the proceeds go to the Pilchuck Glass School of Glass, so people can go learn how to make pipes who otherwise couldn't, and then the other 50% is donated to charity of the artist's choice. So that's kind of what the show's about. And they made me an executive producer. It's like my first big executive producer gig, and I'm blessed to be a part of it. Thank you.
They said you did great, man.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, it was a learning experience, and it's great to work with all these guys. And I'm really looking forward to, you know, the response from the show. We already made it into High Times. They wrote an article about us, and we haven't even finished editing the first episode. So
That's
it seems
awesome.
pretty good. You know what I mean?
Like
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
When can we expect the first show, you think?
So, if I can say, I believe that the first episode of the pilot is going to drop at the end of February.
Good.
But could be a little later. As of right now, end of February.
Tentative.
I can't wait.
And where were you 1 year ago this time?
Let's see, it's February. 1 year ago, well, we were all questioning life, I think.
He told us, dude, he was
Yeah.
getting ready to go on tour with his
Yeah,
band.
but I mean, but honestly,
Well, let's wrap
Really?
it up and say
Swear to God.
thank you
Oh,
for
sorry.
coming.
Yeah, that's out there.
yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't even think you did that.
yeah, 1 year, we already talked about it. But actually,
I thought before you leave, we have to answer that one question. I didn't fucking remember that. I'm sorry. Shit.
Where were you speaking about right before he asked you that?
Shit. He told he did with a tentative date of the end of February for
Oh
the show.
yeah,
Yeah.
for Jerome.
Show's release.
His first executive producer job.
Yeah,
Very
it's-
exciting.
it's surreal, man. I mean, I couldn't have done this on my own. You know what I mean? I was surrounded by a bunch of great people who are really good at what they do. This guy right outside the door, Cowboy, one of the best cameramen in the business. He does NHL, NFL. He's always just, you know, behind the camera acting a fool, but he's really talented too. He doesn't miss a thing, and he's a go-getter. And that's one thing I've found by working with this crew on this set, that they've all worked together for a long time with Jason and Larry Meyer, the other producer, and they all work really hard. And there is no, it's not my job. You know, everyone just steps in and gets it done because we're all in this together. And a lot of this came out of our pockets. Like, this was a dream that we all had. You know, it was a dream that I adopted from Jason, but I took it very seriously, and we all put our blood, sweat, and tears in it. You know, I'm an engineer by day, so naturally they were like, Remy, can you build the set? And yeah, so I spent 2 months cutting up pallets and recycling materials to build the whole set. Every piece on Operation Pipe Dreamers, I built by hand, by scratch.
That's terrific. That's an accomplishment.
Excellent job.
Can't wait to see this.
Yeah.
He built
And
that.
where is it going to be shown? Who did it get picked up by someone? or-
It's in negotiation right now. You're probably going to be able to see the pilot on YouTube, but you can go right now to Operation Pipe Dreamers on Instagram, and you can see a lot of the footage, some behind the scenes stuff, and really get a good grasp of how
This
the
is
show's going to
something that should be on Spike.
be. Spike, huh?
Spike.
Is that still
Well,
around?
See, here's the thing. So I know you guys
I
got
like
to go,
Spike.
but let's just touch on that for a second. You have a lot of restrictions. Don't forget, you can't use the word marijuana when you apply for a license.
Right.
You can't make pipes on television.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? No, it's something that hasn't
No,
been
you
done
can't make
before.
bonds on television.
Bonds, you can't
That's
say the
it.
word
You can't
bond.
say-
Exactly.
you
You're
can't
Tobacco
say-
talking
bond.
about a streaming service, then you're talking about Amazon or Netflix.
I mean,
something.
any
don't
network,
make the
any
bond on the show?
network,
They
Discovery,
make a bottle on the show. for
any of
content.
them, they would.
No, it's a water pipe, son.
No.
You know what I'm
That's a
saying?
water
You know what
pipe.
I'm saying? A water pipe was created by each one of those guys for,
Yeah.
for competition.
So the
right?
people,
They don't make bonds. They only make water pipes.
Right.
Yes, water pipes.
Tobacco
Yes.
pipes. So all the people involved in this naturally gives everyone a want and need to be a part of this show. So every network would want to come at us and say, we want to get involved, but then they put all their restrictions on it. So instead of doing that, we came together as a family, got our own sponsors. We had the talent right here. So we just made the show exactly how we wanted to make it. And then they have to take it as is. That's the idea. And,
Well, that's hard to do in today's Hollywood
and
world.
we're going to
I'll
hope
tell you
to push the curve and get people to get rid of
Good
the
for you.
stigma.
Good.
And taking things as is what we're going to do right now because
No.
we got to shut this baby down, Charlie.
Hey, Remy, thank you so much, dude.
Thanks for
You rock,
having me.
man.
Yeah, dude,
You're
I
awesome,
had
dude.
some time with you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
If you want to
Remy.
tell them about
You have
anything,
to
real
come
quick
back
will be the
again.
time.
Yeah, Remy, any last little thing to
You know-
throw out there?
The Remy LBC, baby.
You know what I mean? Just love your neighbor and just remember smoking weed is about bringing people together and it's supposed to be a positive thing. So if anybody tells you that you're a degenerate then they don't get it, man. Just spread love, positive vibes.
Is he on the pot?
And if you want to catch up with me,
You a pothead.
you can follow
I can
me.
see it in your eyes.
You can follow me on Instagram at Remy_LBC, or you can follow the show at Operation Pipe Dreamers. And then also, if you do want to check out my band, you can do that at Leatherboundcrooks.com. We're on all streaming platforms. We are thought-provoking, issue-orientated Las Vegas alternative rock.
It's very good.
Thank you very much. And on that note, we're out of time on Times Change. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching and listening.